I will pick up from where the pro temp left off kanina, and let's put closure to the clamor of the nurses, our government nurses, for their salary upgrade. Ano? Ang kailangan nila, sabi nyo nga kanina, 3,173,875,081 pesos. Is that the correct figure?
Correct.
Para pumasok na sila sa salary grade 15.
As minimum, Mr. President, correct.
There is, under the General Appropriations Bill of 2020, meron po ritong, as described, under the MPBF, funding requirements for staffing modification and upgrading of salaries. We can introduce a special provision and extract or source the 3 billion from the 12.469 billion under that particular item. Nagamit na raw po dito yung 7 billion. Sa DOH din napunta. So
Yes.
meron pang naiwan pong 5 billion pesos. And at the proper time, with your permission as the chair, as the sponsor, I will introduce an amendment to insert a special provision to source 3,173,875,081 pesos from the 5 billion still remaining under that particular item, if that's okay with you. So the nurses will no longer wait for a passage of legislation or for the availability of funds to be provided by DBM because the funds are already in there under the MPBF.
Correct, Mr. President, and I'm also amenable to your proposal.
So they won't have to wait for, say, 6 months or another year. By January, once we enact the GAA for 2020, yung salary upgrade nila is already taken care of.
Correct, Mr. President, and I agree with you, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. President. Now, on another issue, again, this was taken up by Senator Recto. You know, there are 3 landmark laws passed under this administration, which I consider, underfunded. One is, of course, the universal healthcare, which we will discuss later. Yung universal access to quality tertiary education, as we discussed yesterday, under the TES, yung tertiary education subsidy, ang kaya lang pondohan, 432,000 out of 1.5 million applicants. Kasi ang pondo, 21 billion lang. No? So, another one, which ang original author nandito, the minority leader, yung National ID PhilSys Act, which is the National ID System. Again, as we discussed during the deliberation sa budget ng NEDA, ang available lamang dito, nasa unprogrammed fund pa, 2.4 billion pesos. Ang kaya lang ma-register from the 2.4 billion pesos, 6.3 million Filipinos and resident aliens. Okay, aliens. Kung madagdagan natin, kasi ang requirement nila, funding requirement for 2020, kasi mag-i-start na ito sila ng May of 2020, ang kailangan is 5,165 million, I think. No? And if we can source the additional or the lack of funds from the required 5.165, ang mare-register 14 million Filipinos and resident aliens. So, kulang din. So, I mentioned that because, these are legacy programs of this administration. Talagang ito yung pwedeng ipagmalaki na it is only under this administration na nagkaroon ng universal healthcare, na universal access to quality tertiary education, and nagkaroon ng national ID system. Maraming ina-attempt ito. Of course, in 2013, yung Universal Healthcare Act was passed. Pero kulang yung programa. And yung RA 11223, which is the Universal Healthcare Act of 2018, ito yung may enhance. Ang unang tanong ko, ano po ba yung diferensya ng Universal Healthcare Act passed in 2013 and the Universal Healthcare Act passed in 2018? May pagkakaiba po ba yan?
Universal Healthcare, ito yung PhilHealth, 2013, while for a moment, Mr. President. In 2013, Mr. President, it was just an amendment to the National Health Insurance Law of 1995, Mr. President.
Ang sinasabi doon, makocover lahat ng Pilipino. Okay. Nangyari po ba yun? 98%.
98%.
So, halos compliant sa batas. But then, ano naman yung ipinasok natin sa Universal Healthcare Act of 2018? Para lang makita natin anong significance of the passage of RA 11223 as against yung 10606 yata yun, yung 2013.
DOH means all Filipinos are guaranteed equitable access to quality and affordable healthcare goods and services and protected against financial risk. President Duterte signed Republic Act 11223 or Universal Healthcare Act into law last February 10, 2019. Its IRR was just recently signed last October 10, 2019 and published in newspapers last November 6. The UHE Act contains comprehensive and progressive reforms that will ensure every Filipino is healthy, protected from health hazards and risks, and has access to affordable, quality, and readily available health service that is suitable to their needs. Ito lang po yung sa PhilHealth. You know, every Filipino is automatic a member of National Health Insurance Program. Every Filipinos will have automatic eligibility to and benefits.
Thank you. I'll be more specific. What were not covered under RA 10606 that what PAPs, yung programs, activities, and projects that were not covered under 10606 that are now covered under 11223?
Ano yun ako? Ito po yung primary care benefit, expanded primary care benefit package, Mr. President.
Kindly be more specific, yung details. Ano yung mga programs, mga PAPs na nadagdag? Okay. Madadagdagan ng public health management, magkakaroon ng prevention and control of non-communicable diseases, operations of dangerous drugs abuse, treatment and rehabilitation centers, operation of DOH hospitals in Metro Manila. Tama po ba? Operation of DOH regional hospitals and other health facilities. Tapos assistant to indigent patients. Yun po yung mga nadagdag sa mga PAPs.
Correct, Mr. President and Dr. Lacson. Mas marunong ka pa sa...
Hihinto ko na po ito. Okay. Under the Universal Health Care, meron tayong tinatawag na MTEP, no? Medium Term Expenditure Program. Ano po ba ibig sabihin nito?
For a moment, Mr. President.
Ito po yung multi-year spending plan covering the years 2019 to 2022, midterm. Ano? So, yung tatlong taon na yun, 2019, 2020, 2021, 4 years actually. No? Pero as mentioned by Senator Recto, meron itong tinatawag na Tier 1, Tier 2. Yung Tier 1, ongoing. Ito yung mga ongoing mga programa, yung ginagawa na ngayon ng DOH. Now, if we cross over to Tier 2, meron tatlo. Sinabi kanina ni Senator Recto, low cost, medium cost, at saka high cost. Pag pumunta tayo sa high cost, ang kailangan malaki, 257 billion. Pag tayo nasa medium cost, ayan, 241 billion. Pag low, 151. Ang tanong, ang problema natin dito, ang issue is, ang fiscal space is 151.55 billion pesos. Ano? Kung pupunta tayo sa cost ng Tier 2, hindi tayo gagraduate from low cost. Kasi ang nadagdag lang, 10.46 billion at kinonsider natin yung inflation and other additional costs, parang hindi tayo umasenso. And we, or mga kababayan natin, won't feel any change at all. So para lang makaramdam tayo, kailangan doon tayo pumasok sa medium. And the additional requirement based on the fiscal space and yung mabuti na dagdagan ng Senate yung House version, additional 7 billion. So naging 72. Mas lumiit ng konti yung gap. Ang tanong, ano yung gagawin natin to narrow or even close that gap? Para nando tayo sa medium, para may maramdaman naman tayo na may epekto yung RA 11223. Wag na muna natin isipin yung high. Medium na muna tayo.
With the permission of Senator Lacson.
Of course.
Yeah, Mr. President, as I explained earlier, the actual budget today of the health sector is already at 297 billion in the budget. Yung high nila, 257.
Yes.
And what I was saying earlier is that the DOH budget that we're approving is 96. The PhilHealth subsidy here, which is short, is at 72. Meron pang earmarking ng 3 billion sa PCSO, 8 billion sa PAGCOR, at yung kokolektahin next year ng PhilHealth sa lahat ng miyembro, aabutin ng 117 billion. Once you add all of this, you are already at 297. Ang high cost nila, 257 lang. In addition to the 9297, meron utang pa ang gobyerno na 28.3 na ibabalik din natin at the appropriate time. Therefore, the actual budget for next year is at 320, not 151, 257. Kaya ako pinapaalala sa kanila yung pangako nila na yung high cost estimate ang dapat magawa.
And remember, there's a pending bill
for the first year, yes.
Yung Senate Bill 1074.
Correct.
Makaka-generate tayo doon ng, kung masunod yung Senate version, I think 47 billion.
The Senate
Pagka yung
version,
DOH version,
33.
33.
Pag ang House, 16.
16, yes. So pag naipasa natin yung, ano na lang, nasa median,
Correct.
yung 30 plus billion,
Yeah.
meron pa rin tayo magagamit.
Correct.
Assuming
Yeah.
na hindi naman dadayain ng gobyerno yung DOH.
Correct. Kaya trabaho natin dito na hindi sila dayain.
That is
Itingnan
correct.
natin yung balance na sa batas na, 28.3 yan eh. So, just the last point.
That is why you are here.
Yes.
And it's a blessing that Senator Bongo is here.
Yes.
And he's the sponsor.
Correct.
So he'll make sure na hindi madadaya yung DOH.
Lahat tayo.
Definitely.
Para sa full implementation.
Yes.
Definitely, Mr. President, Senator Recto and Senator Lacson, isa tayo dito, lalong-lalo na po sa pera for health services.
Thank you,
I'm
gentlemen. Thank you.
with you, Mr. President.
Okay. Kasi alam nyo, observation namin, sa halip na umasenso o madagdagan, there's a regression. If we compare the 2019, yung support do sa, yung appropriations, yung cover para sa Universal Healthcare Act, sa 2019, tinotal namin yung lahat ng mga PAPs. Ang funding, appropriations, 123.36. Regression, no? Sa 2020, nadagdagan, nabawasan pa. Naging 112.65 billion na lang. Bakit ganon? Samantalang dapat paakyat tayo as Senator Recto correctly pointed out, yung syntax tumataas kasi progressive yan But how come yung appropriations pababa?
Yung infrastructure ng HPEP,
I will go to that. That's another topic.
bumaba yata, Mr. President, by 10 billion, Mr. President.
Yung sourcing ng pondo from PAGCOR and PCSO na take up ni Senator Recto, so I won't repeat that anymore. There are issues involving PhilHealth, but I won't belabor it anymore because extensively na-discuss na natin ito during the Senate hearings. And I would like to think that the DOH Secretary and of course the PhilHealth President are doing their best to improve the situation sa PhilHealth. Okay. Para lang mapadali, pagod na si Senator Bongo
Thank you, Mr. President.
Tagal kang pinahirapan ni Senator Drilon
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
May mga COA issues dito, yung sa all case rate scheme as against yung COA na nagsabi nito. Yung the other scheme which is yung parang hybrid nila. Anyway, I leave it up to you. Now, ito yung Health Facilities Enhancement Program. Alam nyo, kami ni Senator Drilon, nagdagdag kami ng pondo rito I remember during the deliberation of the budget last year sa BICAM. Ilang billion yan nadagdag ba for this year? Okay. Yung barangay health stations, minimitin ba natin ito? Are we still pursuing this program? Barangay health stations. Di ba nag-start ito 2015? Di ba?
Yes.
And there's an 8.1 billion school-based barangay health station, BHS ang tawag, or ACA, check-up. Bakit check-up ito? Check-up? TSEKAP, check-up project, was established to construct 5,700 barangay health stations. The contract for the first phase of the project, ang worth nito, mga 4.6 billion pesos for 3,200, while the second phase was for 2,500 with a budget of 3.67 billion. Of the 42,044 barangays in the country, how many barangay health stations do we have as of now?
For a moment, Mr. President, they're checking the records.
26,000.
Ayan?
Yeah, 26,000.
Ang health station natin.
Health station.
We have 26,095 barangay health stations all over the country, Mr. President.
And this still included in your priority programs, correct?
Yes.
So 42,044 barangays, nakapag-construct na ng 26,000, so short pa rin kayo ng 16,000 more or less.
Correct, Mr. President.
26,000. How many BHS are in use? Meaning properly manned, may facilities, of the 26,000 already constructed?
Common. President, they're just checking on the records.
Well, point of information lang, while you're still checking the records, ang inaugment namin ni Senator Drilon last year for this year, 16 billion. Pero ang inapprove lang, 15 billion. So yun lang po yung nadagdag for yung sa HPEP. For this year.
Correct, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
going back to my question about the BHS.
26,095 are functional health stations, Mr. President.
With full complement ito.
Functional but not fully. It's either there is a nurse, or there is a midwife, or both of.
So, how many of the 26,095 yung nagseserve ng purpose? Hindi, pero kung kulang yung iba, wala namang paano makapag-serve ng purpose?
Almost all are operational because they have a rotational schedule among their staff, Mr. President.
And I understand, before you are able to construct, you need the permission of the school, di ba? School principal bang hinihingi ng... Pero school-based eh. No, what I'm asking yung school-based na, yes. Yeah. 246 lang. Anong difference pa nun sa BHS at saka yung school-based na yung barangay health station? Kaya na.
Ito yung school, okay?
Ayan, yan. Yung sa check-up.
Ikaw,
So, hindi ba lahat ng barangay health stations co-located sa mga schools?
not all,
necessarily.
Mr. President.
Pero yung co-located, kailangan nyo ng permiso ng eskwelahan. May problema ba kayo sa pagkuha ng permiso minsan? Anong problema na
Yes,
encounter?
Mr. President.
Ayaw pumayag.
Some they have issues for the BHS phase 1. This is the subject of
Pero more exception than the general rule. Konti lang yung ayaw pumayag. O maraming ayaw pumayag. Nahinto.
ito yung natigil pala, Mr. President.
So nakailan ng na-construct bago natigil?
270
277
lang po.
So hindi nyo na itutuloy ito? Wala na, abandon na. Ano nangyari sa 277? Sayang naman yun. Di sayang na naman yung pondo. Nagpa-function.
Under litigation pa po yung
Litigation.
yung project, no?
May court case?
Na nasa Construction Industry Arbitration Commission, SIAC ordered the DOH to pay a total amount of 1.02 billion for the contractor's supposed accomplishments. The award will be appealed by the DOH through OSG because the project is under fraud audit of the COA and may be be subjected to notice of disallowance and suspension, and the project is also under investigation by the NBI. The DOH will exhaust of available legal remedies as to the said award. DOH is being prudent in dealing with this matter since billions of pesos is at stake. That is the update right now, and I think it is worth to note that there was also there was already a Senate investigation on the BHS project last Congress, although the investigation was stopped, and then COA issued a notice of suspension on the BHS project. The DOH is awaiting for the resolution of the NS after the concerned DOH officials submitted their respective justifications. And there is a pending COA fraud audit by COA main office. The fraud audit team is currently investigating. Also, the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission is currently investigating. Also pending with the Ombudsman. NBI is also conducting an investigation. At ito rin po yung and even one channel also made an investigation and what was
So
shown.
since under litigation, wala na di-disperse dito, wala pa. Okay.
Wala ito. Meron na po raw during the past 1.3 billion was disbursed.
Corresponding to the number of BHS constructed? So walang delivery?
270 po ang natapos na raw po.
Natapos. So kulang do sa amount na 1.3 billion. Hindi naka-deliver ng kompleto.
Mobilization fee lang po daw, Mr. President, ang
So ang issue lang is merong arbitration but you're still pursuing the program. No more?
no more, Mr. President.
Okay. Now, yung na-raise ko kanina na augmentation under the 2019 General Appropriations Act, of the 15 billion as approved, how much was obligated and disbursed doon sa appropriations for the HFEP?
HFEP. They're checking the records of HFEP, Mr. President. Andyan na naman.
Related question, meron pa bang humabol doon sa mga nailista nyo na sinabit nyo sa Senate? I remember si Senator Lon required DOH at the time to make a submission of yung HFEP. Pero nang nagbabaycam kami, may mga umaapila. Sabi namin, sa DOH kayo makipag-usap, pero gusto nila doon ipasok sa... If you recall that, Mr. President, the minority leader. So, during the BICAM, I just remember na merong humahabol ng mga congressmen yung kasama natin sa BICAM. So, ang tanong ko sa DOH, meron pa bang humabol na pinagbigyan nyo aside from those already submitted to us when you were required to submit a list? Wala naman. Okay. That's good to hear.
Ito. Ito lang. For 2019, Mr. President, obligated is 13% and disbursed is 11.1%. And I think dahil yata sa late na po na-approve and na-release yung budget for 2019. I think it was mid-April na po yata na-approve yung budget. So they operated on a reenacted budget for the almost first semester.